All right. We are live just a few seconds before 8 a.m. If you can hear me, if you can see the video, if everything looks uh, like it's working, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're smashing that like button. Let the YouTube algorithm know that you're enjoying the content here this morning. 10 of you in so far. I'm assuming that some of you are on mobile, but it is now officially 8 o'clock. Now only 7 of you. So there were more of you waiting and then left once we got in. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's a game just to, I don't know, wait for live stream and then leave. Whatever. Morning, JH, DJ Ware, Zach, Dave, Sean, TN Bighorn. Good morning. Good morning, B. Everybody piling in. So, did our first training, the week of Thanksgiving, sent out a survey, got over 50% survey results, which is good. The results overall were favorable. Um, some people offered very good constructive criticism. There are going to be 3 1-hour lunch and learns coming up. I'm going to be sending those out. And just be keeping your eyes open for more of our training. I'm working with Nathan over at NetTool. There's going to be a giveaway for that coming here soon. And we're thinking about, I've been tossing around cleanest server room or best server room. And so I think we're probably going to do that. Good morning, Jeremy. Cody of Mac Telecom, Justin, Prav, Jerry, Paul, Edward, and Ryan. Good morning to everybody. So I actually, believe it or not, I actually do have a list of things we're going to talk about this morning. So first of all, good morning, Joe at Cajoling. So I know I've been like teasing this router. So if you go out and you check out the beta club out at Grandstream, which is on a public forum, you can check out what this is. I'm not going to talk about it much more, but if you want to look at it, go check it out. This is Grandstream. It's a very interesting product. Does not require an internet connection to set up at all. Does have right now the beta units have a 2x2 Wi-Fi 6. It's a very interesting device. So it can actually control 8 other Grandstream APs at this time. Now you got to remember this is current firmware, and they are looking for tons of feedback. So we've been providing them tons of feedback. But go check it out if you want to know more about this. Go check out the Grandstream beta club. There's also an NDA type forum that I'm a part of, so I can't talk about that stuff. But this is out in public beta. It's not publicly released. It's not general availability. It is beta though. So go check that out. No more teasing about that. You know what that is. You know that I'm testing it. So right now I've got 2 Grandstream APs inside the house that run the whole show, and then I've got a 76 GWN 7630 LR in the garage that handles outside. So I'm going to be reconfiguring those to work with this as their. I'm going to be looking, to make this the controller up to those 8 APs, and I don't know if I have 8 Grandstream APs. I have 5, but I'm going to push this thing and keep the testing going. So let's go over to the comments real quick. Oh, hey, do y'all like the little, it's on this side, the little candle and flame thing messing around with the video this morning? All right, let's see here. Good morning, Scott. Richard, good morning. Ryan says that YouTube is really showing the fact that it's a subscriber only mode. Well, that's for chat. Only subscribers can chat. Good morning, Tony with Quick Tech. He is listening on his way to work. He's retired. He's the hardest working retired person that I know. JH says, looks like Grandstream is taking on Unify harder. I think Grandstream is going to be taking on a lot of networking vendors. They've got their switches coming, which means that we're going to be able to deliver a full stack Grandstream solution. And then there's not going to be anybody else to argue with except for Grandstream when things don't work properly. So yeah, I think that this is Ryan Sharp asked, how does the public beta work for physical product? You have to be accepted into the beta program. So you have to apply for it. And you have to be accepted, Ryan. So you can go look around the beta forum and they'll tell you how to get in there. Gibby says it looks like it's perfect for the residential market. I think it's going to be perfect for SMBs and residential. I'm hoping that they beef up the firmware or give us another version of this that's going to be better for those high-end installs. But there's something else we're going to talk about here in just a minute. So, and my wife is there. So I thought I'd scheduled a dog appointment. So I'm going to have to run on time today. Might have to cut this actually a couple minutes early. Our dog has to be given trazodone before their appointments, just because our GSD gets a little excited around other dogs and people, but our lab is a wrecking ball and she is fantastic, but we have to give her trazodone. So my wife gave her trazodone. Appointment is at 9, so I have to make sure we're out of here on time this morning. Good morning, Bob. Good morning, Argon, Ralph. Let's see. Everybody is in. Let's see. Is there? So I'm using an intermediary piece of software this morning for I'm using an intermediary piece of software for the stream this morning, and it's applying that candle that you see down there. And so I'm assuming there's some sort of processing, something going on that's causing issues. But let's hop right into it. If you've got questions, go ahead and post those in the comments. I've got 3 things that I wanted to talk about. Grandstream was one of them, and we are continuing to sell more and more Grandstream systems. And just so you know, if you were wondering about Remote Connect prices, there is going to be a free tier for Remote Connect, and it's going to be free forever, at least right now. And what it is going to be 10 extensions per UCM and 4 simultaneous calls, free forever. So you can't beat free forever for 10 extensions and 4 simultaneous calls. Then they're going to have a silver, bronze, and gold package. We don't have pricing on that yet. As soon as that comes out, you will be the first to know as soon as I know. So yeah, free forever with an asterisk. Okay, second thing I wanted to talk about, Synology. If you didn't get a chance to watch the Synology 2022 videos yet, do yourself a video. It's going to take you a couple hours to run through all the videos. I watch mine on 1.5 or 2 times speed, so I got through them pretty quick. But Synology's got some pretty stinking awesome stuff coming in 2022. They've got a Wi-Fi 6E router, right? So it's a bigger piece of hardware. It's a Wi-Fi 6E router. It's going to be released Q1 2022. I am on the list to get one. I confirmed that. So we will be doing a lot of videos, and we'll be comparing it to the RTC 2600 AC, which actually too, if you're watching their router video, they paraphrase me in there. No attribution given, but if you've ever looked at the media and everything, you'll know that I say that Synology hands down has the best parental controls in a router. I still believe that to be true, and so they actually use that line in the video. And so they're going to be sending those out. I can't wait to show you that. It's also got 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports. I am super excited for that hardware. They also teased at a higher end piece of hardware, and I'm hoping that this is where we're going to get a 1U router from Synology. They've also teased that we're going to be able to manage all the routers like we manage the NASs from a central console. So I'm hoping that that's coming, but I don't know that for sure. But I'm supposed to be getting a demo unit of some of the 2022 models of NASs that are out. I'm on the list. They've changed things, just so you know, and anyone who's working with Synology on the media side can tell you they've changed. So my inside media guy, well, I'll just tell you this. For a little while, it was North American sales and marketing, and they were fighting each other to kind of like work with me. And so sales could get things approved that marketing couldn't get approved, and it worked out really well for you. It worked out well for me. they've changed their internal structure, and now I have a marketing person. It doesn't look like we are going to be any new product. I don't think we're going to get to keep it, which is going to change probably not only the way that some of us do reviews and things like that, but it'll probably change the way that we recommend hardware. I will tell you, QNAP is hungry. I've got a new QNAP box. You're going to see a video on here in the next couple days. It's got a Ryzen chip in it. Uh, they are hungry. QNAP wants to create a partnership with us, and I told them my concerns about some of the security stuff from the NAS side. Now, I think the QHORA routers and their software defined WAN, I think, is fantastic, and they sent me another one so we can do some videos on that. But I will tell you that I think that some of these businesses, the way they change their internal structures, like when Ubiquity obviously did the fake marketing videos, right, where they hired people to make it look like they were trying to create a viral video. I think that those changes, where I think some of those changes are going to negatively impact some of these companies, right? So we'll see. We'll see. Everybody say hi to my son Wyatt. Wyatt is also in the comments. That's fantastic. Yes, DSM 7.1 is coming out. The new Synology surveillance station looks amazing. So do yourself a favor, go out and watch those Synology 2022 videos. Um, they are bringing that hybrid future that we talk about. How I talk about how hybrid, not completely cloud, not completely on-prem. They are ushering in, they are pushing hard in that hybrid environment, and I think that that's going to work out for them. So definitely go out. I'm super excited about this Synology Wi-Fi 6E router. And then let's talk about we'll talk about the elephant in the room, right? So all kinds of people doing all kinds of videos about this Ubiquity hack, right? So when Ubiquity got hacked, and I don't know if James is on the video or not, but when Ubiquity got hacked, I had James do a video about it and about how to go out and change your 2FA, change your password, all that good stuff. You didn't hear us talking about details of the hack. You didn't see us trying to get into explainer videos about breaking it down. You didn't see us slamming Ubiquity. You didn't see us doing any of those things. And now more details have come out. Now, well, we don't know for sure if it's Ubiquity, so it would be hilarious if a lot of these people who jumped on the bandwagon early and did these videos, if it actually wasn't Ubiquity. But the details are lining up pretty good, and so you know what, I might be wrong, but I think it probably is. The stories that are out are definitely probably 95% sure they're about Ubiquity. Anyway, the insurance companies are coming for you, right? If you're in this line of business, they have figured out, and I'm starting to work with a lot of people. They figured out that cyber liability insurance, like they have let people do a lot of sloppy things, and so the rooster's coming home to the chicken's coming home to roost, so to speak, and things are going to have to start. We're going to start putting real teeth into security, so that's something we're going to be helping a lot of people with. But the reason that I don't get too excited when these things come out is because we are living in the lawyer's world. We are living in the insurance company's world. It's a stupid fact. It's unfortunate. A lot of law firms don't have the technical chops on this, but they've figured out that they work with insurance companies. They work with these big service providers. That it's another revenue stream, right? So it's another market that never existed before. Um, and so, but what is happening now is when there's a breach, you're not going to get a bunch of information right away. That's just not how it works. Rightfully so, the insurance company and the lawyers tell you to be quiet, and there's only so much information that you can publicly put out there. Now, I am a huge fan of an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I've been saying it for years, which if you go back a couple of years when I did my video where I ranted about this municipality making a $600,000 ransom, it's absolutely ridiculous that they didn't have some sort of a backup. $600,000, you could create a world-class backup for probably the entire state of Florida for $600,000. And it's this is where we're at though, right? Follow the money. And so that's why you don't see a lot of details about this. So I have to sit in meetings where insurance companies and law firms give presentations about this. And when you have cyber liability insurance, you can't just come out and say, "Yeah, we were hacked. Here's the details." There's going to be all kinds of lawsuits. There's all kinds of things that are happening. You can't just give details, right? And I know it's frustrating for people, but there's a certain way that things have to be done. And so, no, I don't blame Ubiquity for not putting out more details. The only detail that I wish that they would have put out is that people needed to reset their 2FA. They talked about changing passwords, but everybody had kind of heard the detail about, that the 2FA information had also been taken and that, you needed to reset that. So, um, you're going to see insurance companies raising premiums. You're going to see insurance companies dropping people. You're going to see all kinds of stuff because it's all about liability shift. And PCI DSS standards did this several years ago. Visa has figured out they're losing billions of dollars by taking it on the chin. And so that's why you have this set. And the PCI security standards, they're an excellently developed and written set of security standards. I love them. Um, some of the stuff in the compliance world that I have a complaint with is people who use automated software. So if you've ever worked with me and done security scans, you'll know that that automated software, yes, we use it, but a lot of times you're going to get companies who use that automated software and that's where they leave it, right? It doesn't check for revision levels or if it's it just detects Apache 2.4. It doesn't detect that it's Apache 2.4 dash Ubuntu, whatever, and Ubuntu's already patched this, right? So because you're running Apache 2.4, you automatically fail. Those are the kinds of things that upset me. And so when we do our scans, we do our scans a little differently. Not only the thing is the reason like why the CISSP exists is because compliance is not just about tightening down the screws on the technical side. It's about making sure you've got policies and procedures in place to put teeth into these things, right? Because we can spend $1 million on technology and it takes one errant email and one employee accidentally clicking on something to undo $1 million worth of technology, right? So it's about training. It's about having a certain level of respect for employees and end users. I see a lot of IT people who talk down to end users, who think they're better than their end users. And occasionally I'll joke around. I'll make a post like with a really like horrible painting and it says like client budget or client expectation. I'll have the Mona Lisa and then it's like a really like a crayon drawn version, client budget. I'll joke around about stuff like that because everybody knows that until there's a problem, the purse strings stay closed, right? And that's a fact. But you should never think that you're better than your users. You should never talk down to your users. You should be able to have empathy. Not everybody that is born and working now in the workforce, or even kids who are coming up now, not everybody has technical savviness. And I do think that there's a point where we do expect in the workforce there to be skills or for you to be able to learn certain skills. That's a whole other conversation in managing business and expectations for employees. But as an IT professional, as a security professional, you should never be talking down to people. You should never be trying to make their lives too difficult. You should be having meetings trying to figure out, okay, we've got this set of goals that we need to meet. How do we take the business objectives, the what the business has given us for resources, and how do we meet this? Now, if you've got unrealistic expectations based on the resources you're given, now that's another conversation we've got to have, right? But there's a real reason 30-day password expiration, that's a thing of the past. Microsoft themselves don't even do a 30-day password expiration. If you start going back and start reading the history of that, yet it's the default in I think it's the default in Active Directory. Maybe they've changed it, but there was a default 30-day. And what you should be doing is you can extend that out. I've extended that in a lot of places to 90 days. And once we implement two-factor authentication, we're going to extend it even further than 90 days. Because here's what happens when you have unrealistic password requirements, expectations for your users. Because you've got users that are everything from in a skill set from soup to nuts, right? But those people, if the company didn't think that they had a place, the company should maybe reorganize the way they work and move people along. But generally, I think if you're working, the company probably needs you in some capacity. So you have to be able to communicate with people that have little to no IT technology savviness up to people who might be like you. And here's the thing, right? One of the biggest things that I see is people pushing these crazy password expectations. And what that does is that makes people write them down on sticky notes, hang them on their monitors, put them under their keyboards, put them under their desk blotters. I walked into an office one time that had usernames on an 8.5 by 11. It was laminated, and the secretary was keeping everybody's passwords, and they were just writing it in dry erase marker. And because it expired every 30 days, they'd wipe it after 30 days. But I mean, this is the kind of catch 22 that we put our end users in. So this is why we should be training on things like passphrases, right? How do you create a strong, what we would consider a password, but using a passphrase and make it easy for end users? How do you create training that engages with the end user? So you have to be able to understand and read your audience. You could be the most talented programmer, the most talented security person in the world. You could write programs that could solve world problems. But if you can't connect with people, you're going to have a hard time in those physical interactions, right? You might sell software, and that's good for you if that's your end goal. But if you are trying to get people to recognize you and all this, I mean, you're going to run into all kinds of issues. So there's a lot of art and there's a lot of psychology in creating good trainings, and being able to actually empathize and get end users kind of on the same page. I often tweak trainings. I give trainings to people with all kinds of skill sets, um, public officials, C-suite type folks, all the way down to end users that are the ones that are the motors making everything hum all the time. And I will often redesign a training. Like, go back on my page and look at the training that I did, and you can tell which slide that I pulled out because it had information that I couldn't show you and that I redid at the end of the moment. It's a little bit sharper, a little bit should have taken a little bit more time on that particular slide, but it got the point across. But I just did a training a couple of weeks ago talking about specifically this 10 to 15 minutes. All I did was talk about impersonation, and I knew my audience, and I crafted 8 slides specifically to touch the people that I knew were going to be to make those connections with people in the room. So, um, it's there's a lot to security. Security is huge. Security is being human. Security, you know what I mean? So we got to have conversations, and you're going to find yourself really on the short side one of these days, if you think that you can just push crazy policies and that people aren't going to push back. I mean, you're going to end up with a lot of you're going to end up with a lot of issues in your life and in your career if you have these unreal expectations of people. If you think everybody thinks like you and you're holding people to the standards that you hold yourself to, you're probably going to end up disappointed, right? So you've got to have empathy. Like I said, when you're in IT security, I don't care. Certifications are awesome. Like, I'm going to end up sitting for the CISSP next year. I'm going to. I'm going to finish my CWNA, and then CISSP is the next thing I'm going to sit for. Then I'm going to get some cloud architect certs just because I need to know what's going on in that portion of the industry. But the CISSP is awesome, and it's a requirement to do certain things in certain industries. But you can be just as talented and just as skilled with no degree, with no certifications, right? So that's another thing that we need to talk about. Does having the CISSP automatically make you understand this stuff? No, it doesn't. It means that you studied, you understand the concepts, and you pass the exam. It also means that you probably have a bachelor's degree and that you have somebody vouching for your skills, because the CISSP does add another layer to that. You have to work in so many of the security domains for a certain amount of time. And then you have to have someone vouch for your skills after you pass the exam. So CISSP is a little bit different than like your Security Plus. It does have a little bit more teeth, and it is a little bit more sought after, and the salaries are higher. So let me go over to the comments. I'll get off my soapbox real quick and get off the comments. And actually, I'm gonna have to do a second stream probably, and we're gonna have to talk about this because I actually do have to wrap it up. I got to get out of here so we don't miss the dog appointments. Sorry I ranted for so long about security, but it is something that I'm passionate about, making sure that security professionals are actually um, security professionals should actually be interacting with people, not um, trying to be exalted on a throne and throwing down orders. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, I'm gonna, if you've got certain things you wanted me to see, leave them in the regular comments. But I'm gonna hop off of here because I literally got to get a dog in the car and get going. Whatever you're doing this Saturday, be awesome at it. I appreciate each and every one of you. Really, this isn't possible without you. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.